Zungu's evidence is not a total write-off. We have taken about two hours talking about it. If it was a total write-off, I'm sure it would have taken 15 minutes. More than 2 hours examining Zungu's evidence. Back to Difa, advocate. When you say there's nothing you can glean from there, nothing. For instance, Zungu is the one who introduced Kininda to his father, who lives in Durban and runs a taxi between Mpumalanga and Natal. Who hates, yes, evidence, fine. Who hates that there are persons who are responsible for having murdered Senzo. Durban, Peter Marisbeck. He was frightened away towards Joburg by Kininda, who took a statement from this unreliable informer called Zungu. He gave Kininda the information.
Itingo senkantolo ke uma ngabe ithi athi na kayihambisani noyinkulumo kammeli kumnumzana uAdvocate Nxumalo ukuthi ufakazi baka Constable Zungu ufakazi obungekho futhi ufakazi obungahambisani ngoba ithi bathatheka ngaphezulu kwamahora amabili kwedingida udaba lolu futhi mabebuza koZungu mibuzo noma bebuza koZungu mibuzo ngesikhathi esibalala ngaphambi kwesenkantolo ufakazi bakhe ke bathi kepha uma ngabe ke ufakazi baka Zungu kade kuyinto engekho futhi ufakazi bakhe bungahambisani bekungekho kuze kuthatha nje imizuzu eyi15 obufakazi bakhe bebethwela ngaphambi kusenkantolo kepha bathi khumbula khona nzathi khona ke udaba uZungu walikhuluma ukuthi ke noma Brigadier Kininda udaba walikhuluma ukuthi nakhe wahlanganiswa uZungu noma uZungu yena waxhumanisa uBrigadier Kininda futhi noma baka Constable Zungu bathi futhi baka Constable Zungu sebenza lokule mboni itekisi futhi ushayela kabantu qhamuka lapho ke eThekwini noma ke eKZN noma ngaphansi kwesifundazwe saseKwaZulu Natal ebahambe bamikisa ngaphansi kwesifundazwe saseMpumalanga futhi bathi nakhe uyena owenza ke inhlelo zokuthi lapho ke uBrigadier Kininda agcina ehlangene nobaba kaBrigadier nobaba kaConstable Zungu bese bathatha uBrigadier Kininda kwabese kuba uye ke othatha istatement salapha yana sikababa sakababa kaConstable Zungu futhi wathi khona ke udaba lonkulumo awayisho khona lapho ke uNongozokolozana nomuntu owakhuluma lapho kuBrigadier Kininda kade kuyimpimpi yakhe bathi uniform ke ngolimi lesingisi
impimpi.
So I beg to differ, Advocate Nxumalo, that the evidence of Zungu is unreliable, contradictory, hopeless. Nobody can make head or tail of that evidence.
Hey Tada, we are back with another video. The page it is called South African Lady News. What we just heard there, it is Judge Fakazile Ratha giving his judgment on Section 174 discharge that was applied for by accused number 4, Mr. Mapisa. But today I'm going to be short like a miniskirt because the judgment just finished me. I just lost it. I couldn't understand how we arrived at that decision. I think this is the worst court decision that I've witnessed on TV. To make it worse, Judge Ratha did not have a coherent written judgment. At some point, he was just asking Baloyi for some clarity because he did not have the valid facts. And that happened during the judgment. That is highly irregular because when you give judgment, you speak and you don't ask any questions because it is your turn now to give out what was said by both sides, defense and the state. And at some point he confused accused number 3 with accused number 5. That shows that he did not prepare properly for this judgment. But then he ultimately declined the Section 174 discharge application by accused number 4. So for me, it was clear that he was going to decline it anyway because he is a biased judge. However, I expected a better and a well-reasoned judgment, not this hogwash. Instead, he praised Constable Zungu like it was like bokuthi uyimbongi kaZungu ngendlela amncome ngayo. Amncoma, and that was just revolting because it is the same Zungu that has been discredited by his own father. But asikho ke lapho. Then Judge Fazil Rata was all over the place. He did not know what was left or right. He was just all over the place. He had pieces of papers in his hands which shows that he did not have a type judgment, meaning that he did not read the entire evidence. He was just reading the notes that he normally writes during court sitting when there are witnesses giving evidence. That is it. He was reading the notes that he writes on a daily basis. And that's not how a judge should work. In that judgment, he even forgot the names of places. He forgot the names of people. He kept on saying, Brigadier Kananda, Maganya. There's no such people in this case. There's no Maganya in the Kananda. I only know of Kininda and Mangena. So if you were a judge that was reading transcript, you would know them very well by now. You cannot be saying wrong surname of Kininda and Mangena, whereas this case has been there for about 3 years, listening to the same evidence that was brought by Ubaloi, and you still don't know that it's Kininda, not Kananda. So clearly this judge is not prepared. He does not know what he's doing. It's the same judge that keep telling us that he's got a 50 years experience in the bench, but today he sounded like a grade R student or umfundo secretary because he did not know what was left or right. He kept on saying Zungu that, but a written judgment would have helped him to remember the facts of the case, not just the Zungu evidence. He did not bother to look at the DNA evidence or the convicting evidence that was provided by the state witnesses. Rata failed to address the fact that the crime scene was contaminated when that Mapiri cleaned the crime scene. We cannot forget that Mapiri, he cleaned the crime scene. It was also contaminated when Shadrack Sibiya held a meeting at that house before the arrival of Ulo, Umangena, and Sergeant Musia. So Rata never said anything about the crime scene. As for me, you cannot rely on the evidence by Mangena because the crime scene was cleaned. Mangena could not take, not Mangena, Musia could not take proper fingerprints because that door handle was touched and cleaned and so on. But he said nothing about the crime scene. As you know that in any criminal case, the crime scene is like gold because it tells you what happened. You rely on the crime scene to find clues about the case. But this crime scene of Senzo was cleaned by Mapir, the same Mapir that was not charged or brought before court to give evidence. Today's judgment was just terrible. In that meeting that was held by Shadrack Sibiya and those people that were in the house, it is alleged that the theory of the intruder was approved. But Urata did not mention any word about that meeting that was held at the crime scene. A proper judge would have questioned ukuthi Shadrack Sibiya yini le ayikhuluma nabantu babesendlini, because Shadrack Sibiya was not the investigating officer at the time. So Sibiya had no business being there at the crime scene. So it's clear that that meeting was just there to make sure that Longotwala is protected. We know for a fact now that Longotwala is the one that allegedly shot Senzo by mistake. How do you know that? Go to Umlung's statement. It will tell you. Utumela Madlala phoned Umzehlope and told him that Senzo has been shot by mistake at Tutula Ulongotwala. So after that, there's a meeting where they just told everybody to say, you must stick to the story and say there's an intruder. Just forget about Longo shooting Senzo. But Urata ignored all those facts. So to me, it seems like Rata accepted every lie by Zungu because of some reason. He just thought that yonke into ebisho Constable Zungu is a gospel truth, whereas amanga wodwa lawo. I remember that Urata, he even mentioned that accused number 4 was implicated by Zungu because Mapisa went to buy alcohol with him at Tops later that day. But anyone that has a brain would know that at Tops, they don't sell all alcohol after 4 p.m. on Sundays because the sale of alcohol by supermarket is prohibited at the same time. You can only sell alcohol, I think, up to 3 or 4, but not after that. So Senzo was shot on a Sunday. So it's not possible that they went at Tops after 5, as Uzungu said. So Uzungu lied there, but Urata did not pick that lie. Did not pick up that lie because Matalu Kukili bias. That's the only thing that I can say about him. It's the same Zungu that lied when he was on the stand. You remember that he once said that he had written statements back in KZN. But then when the judge said, okay, Zungu, go to KZN and try and collect those statements, he went, but he failed to bring them. On the following Monday, he came back empty-handed and then changed his story and said those statements were written on receipts or newspapers. That's why he couldn't find them. So he said he wrote them on the receipts and newspapers. So those receipts and newspapers were misplaced or destroyed. So that's why he couldn't find them. Whereas Amanga Wotwalau, he went to KZN knowing very well that he had destroyed those statements already. So Zungu lied. He's a liar of the highest order. So I don't really understand how Rata arrived at the judgment, because to me it seems like he thinks Zungu speaks the gospel truth, but it's the same Zungu that hangs around Izinkabis, the same Zungu that admitted that he hangs around with Izinkabis, like Kwabini and so on. So as a judge, how do you trust that person? Because that person, to me, does not have a high integrity. If you hang around with these Nkabis, it tells me one thing: it's either you're an Nkabi yourself or you support them. So for me, Uzungu has got no credibility, but the judge did not find that. And then Zungu was even quoting a conversation between Zungu and Kwabini. Rata said something about Kwabini shooting Snaku with a 9mm, implying that it could be the same 9mm that was used to shoot Senzo Meyu. But the same Kwabini was not called by the state to verify those conversations. So the state has actually failed to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt when it comes to accused number 4, because they did not bring Kwabini to verify those claims by Uzungu. So Rata was just like, Zungu, ntayikhuluma yonke iqiniso, but it does not look at his credibility as a person. A person that hangs around with Izinkabi cannot be a person okhuluma iqiniso. Let's face it. If uhlala nenkabi, it means uyisigebengu nawo wena, because uyiphoyisa la, umuntu supposed to be umuntu omthetho, umuntu ovikela abantu, but lapho wena uhlala nenkabi, knowing very well that they shoot people but over-report. So as a judge, you cannot trust such a witness. And at some point, Rata said Zungu misspoke instead of saying Zungu lied about those handwritten statements that Zungu failed to find in KZN. He said no, he misspoke when he said they were written on the paper, whereas they were written on the newspapers and receipts. Ngathi uRata uyufakazi ofakazela uZungu umsizayo where Zungu struggles. Rata comes in and add some salt there so that isitori sikaZungu can sound reliable and honest. Madoda, uTotwe Judge Lil. And then Uzungu, he went on and said, hey, Ning. You see, yesterday Rata was just like Zungu's lawyer. He was even defending him like there's no tomorrow. I've never seen such way judge act as ummeli wofakazi. That should be done by Advocate Baloyi, because Baloyi, he is the one that represented the state, not him. But now we know for the fact that Constable Zungu lied when he was in court. His father, Mr. Absalom Zungu, has already told the media that his son only testified in court because he was promised a position within the police. That was said by his own father. And I believe Absalom Zungu, because no father would lie about his son. So the integrity of Constable Zungu ayikho. Iproof kuphi nangibaba wakho uyasho la ukuthi uZungu wanika ubufakazi enkantolo because emsebenzini bamthembisa ukuthi uzothola i-promotion. Into eshiwo ubani loyo Absalom Zungu, ubaba ka Constable Zungu. And then Constable Zungu tried to get his father to make false statements in order to corroborate his evidence that he gave in court. So Constable Zungu wacela baba ukuthi okay baba, ngicela ufakazi into efana nesho yimina ukuze inkantolo ithembe or into engiyishoyo ibe nesiqi. Into eshuba leyo ubaba uAbsalom Zungu. So Constable Zungu tried to get his father to fabricate evidence. That is a crime on its own. As a police officer, he should know that. So once Absalom Zungu is testifying in court, I think maybe Rata might look at the evidence ka Constable Zungu ngelinye iso, because you cannot tell me that you accept everything that was said by Constable Zungu. So I think once his father is given evidence, Constable Zungu should be arrested and be charged with perjury because he lied under oath, and his father will prove that when he's on the stand. And then Absalom Zungu alleged that Brigadier Kininda offered him a trip overseas as well as money as long as he testifies and implicates accused number 1 and 2. That was said by Absalom Zungu when he spoke to the media, Lapagui Daily Sun. That's why the defense must make sure that they forget about this Section 174 discharge defeat, because it's history now. Manje, they must fight back harder. When I say fight back, I mean they must fight back in discrediting the evidence of Kininda and Constable Zungu, because Uchachi Rata thinks those two speaks the gospel truth, but we know by now that those two are being economical with the truth. That is a fact. So from today, I'm hoping that the defense will make sure that they consult with Absalom Zungu, Warrant Officer Makuba, Jos Buthelezi, that ballistic expert that they brought in court that was wearing a brown jacket. I forgot his name, but I think it was Dave or something. Dave, yeah, I think it's Dave. They must consult and make sure that they find loopholes in the state's case. You see, the ballistic that was presented by Umangena, there are so many ways to discredit it. So I'm hoping that the defense can get hold of, firstly, Babu Zungu. It should be easy to find him because Itelisan and Njabulo were able to find Absalom Zungu. So if they can't find him, then they must approach Itelisan and Njabulo to make sure that they find him. And because Absalom Zungu made it clear that he never made any statements to Kininda or the police. So this means that the statement that was quoted by Gininda in court was a fabrication, meaning that Gininda lied in court. Therefore, he lied under oath. Therefore, he committed perjury. So, Gininda, same as Constable Zungu, I think after this case is done, I ufana because fabricating evidence is a major crime in this country. So, if the state can fabricate one statement, then it means it's possible that they could have fabricated many other statements. And one statement that I think it was fabricated is the one of Uthabang Makeleni. Namkhumbula Uthabang Makeleni, uye lo wathi he saw two men running out of the Khumalo household after the 2 gunshots. But the troubling thing about the statements of Makeleni is that Makeleni was able to see those 2 people and identify special features like the gold tooth, the beard, and dreadlocks. But the people in the house could not identify those people, meaning that abantu ababeseduze nalama intruders could not identify them. But Makeleni yena ehleli 100 meters away, he could see them. So it's clear that the statement of Makeleni amanga wodwa lawo, it was fabricated, and to prove that Makeleni akasekho is dead now. So they know that Makeleni cannot be brought to court and be cross-examined by defense. So it's convenient to have this statement from Makeleni because it works in favor of the state narrative. So I think main statements were fabricated, especially this one of Thabang Makeleni. Kwangeke abone gold tooth and other special features, because we know that after 8 p.m. South Africa, it's very dark. So Uthabang Makeleni, how was it possible that he could see those intruders perfectly? Amanga wodwa lawo. So I'm sure that his statement was cooked. But I'm sure Ururata would ignore that. But as soon as Uzungu exposes Gininda and his son, then maybe Rata may see the light and see that maybe Labantu, that I think they are good. They are not so honest after all. And I think during the argument, the defense must repeat the point that Ubaloyi failed to bring the AVL report of Constable Zungu. Phela must remember that Zungu was driving a state car on the day that Senzo was shot. And we know for a fact that police cars are fitted with AVL. The state is hiding the AVL car Zungu because it shows that he was not in Phosphorus when Senzo was shot. Zungu is lying, and the AVL proves it. So the state would not bring it to court because it does not support their narrative. The AVL record was going to show us the movement of Zungu. Kusibona ukuthi okay, ngalolanga wafika ehostel, waphuma wahamba waya e-shops to buy alcohol and so on and so on and so on. But because ayisho njalo, Ubaloyi and ulo umnganakhe lo munye side chick, they're hiding it. So as things stands, we have no proof that Zungu was ever at that hostel. So I find it hard to understand how can Rata just accept Zungu's evidence as the gospel truth. Angazi ngempela. No AVL to confirm his whereabouts. No state witness can confirm his story. So clearly the judge just jumped the gun by accepting Zungu's evidence as the gospel truth. The judge should have just been more cautious about Zungu's evidence. Clearly it was not corroborated by any witness. It was not corroborated by any AVL, which is scientific. And I'm glad that Absalom Zungu has deposed a statement or an affidavit in I think it's in Newcastle. And that statement is throwing Brigadier Gininda under the bus for allegedly cooking evidence. So I'm very happy about that. But that statement means nothing if the defense don't bring Absol Mzungu to court, which is why the defense must use this time to consult and make sure that they close all the loopholes. Then they find all the gaps in the state's case. So the case will resume on the 22nd of September. So they've got about 2 weeks to work on those issues. So I hope that the defense will not just sit at home and just waste time. They need to work on this case like 10 hours a day. So if they bring that ballistic expert that is called Dave, I think they can also debunk some of the evidence that was given by Mangena. And then you must also remember that Colonel Chobeka Mhlahlo considered that none of the photographed evidence show the bullet where it was allegedly found, while the exhibit of the sealed envelope was not a proof that it contained a bullet. Umhlahlo washo ukuthi iy'thombe leziyana akukho isithombe esishoyo ukuthi inhlavu yatholwa la. There's not a single photo. So that on its own should tell you ukuthi that bullet was planted on the crime scene. Remember that the police came on the 26th of October 2014, and many police, not just one police, many police officers, they came at the crime scene and they found no bullet. But quickly, the following day, which was a Monday, they found a bullet. How convenient. Clearly, it was planted there. So the fact that there's no photo, this is a shusha ubangena no nailo uColonel Chobeka Mhlahlo, it shows that ukuthi inhlavu le was planted there. Clearly, it was planted. So the defense experts must also mention in court that it is impossible for the police officers to miss the bullet on day one, because that is when the crime scene is less contaminated. So what day two bathola inhlavu hayibo kanjani, because lapho kwasekuhamba abantu endlini and so on and so on and so on. So babengeke bonke labantu endlini abayibona inhlavu, but then amaphoyisa ngakusasa ayithola. Hayibo madoda, asizwane ingane la. And then Rasa also ignored the telephone records of accused number 3, Mncube. Remember that Mncube's cell phone record shows that his phone pinged at the Johannesburg CPD at the same time when Senzo was shot. Must remember that. That means Mncube was not at Foslo when Senzo was shot. So if Mncube is not in Foslo, then he cannot be a shooter of Senzo Meyiwa. And then you must also remember that it is evidence before court that Mncube and Mapisa were at the same place at all material times on that Sunday. They only separated when they were going to sleep. So Mncube was with Mapisa when Senzo was shot. If Mncube was in Johannesburg CBD, it means Mapisa was also there in CBD, meaning that Mapisa was not in Foslo. If wayengekho eFoslo, kusho ukuthi wayengekwazi ukudubula Senzo engekho eFoslo. So if Mapisa and Mncube were together, clearly they were not involved in this crime. I hope niyangizwa, because that is very important evidence. Advocate Nxumalo wathi uMapisa at all material times was with accused number 3. So if telephone records accused number 3 ithi Mncube was in Johannesburg CBD at 8:30, it means Mapisa was at Johannesburg CBD at 8:30 because they were together. So both of them, they could not have been at the Khumalo house. So they did not commit this crime. That is something that is very important. It's telephone records kabani ka accused number 3. So during arguments, I hope that the defense will mention that. But the case will resume on the 22nd of September, and that is when the defense opens its case. So from today, I'm hoping that They consult, and consult. They must forget about any other thing. They know ukuthi uMakhubo bamthola kuphi. They know ukuthi bamthola kuphi uJoseph Buthelezi. So I'm hoping that they'll do their work and make sure that they fight for these guys. Thank you for watching.